Alright guys, here we are, EthynVille Bro 420, doing a little track ballasting and also weathering the track prior to track ballasting. I use Easy Track and the whole layout is pretty much designed with Easy Track, but what I have here is a rattle can, two of them, but leather brown, glossy leather brown, and that brings the ties to a wood color, and then a stained cinnamon, and this brings your rails to a rusty color. So pretty much what I do here is just go right ahead and give it a good old spray job. We'll stop right there in the corner. And there's that. Now we come back over with the brown. And sorry, forgot to shake this one up. And there we have that. Now, by looking at the rails themselves, we can see that they are rusty, and then the ties are brown with a little bit of rust on them. And so here I will show you that. As you can see here, of course it's also wet, but you can see that they really do look rusty. So we give it a nice coat, liberal coat, and down there you can see that I have painted them, but the glue has stuck to the side, and once that clears then they'll look rusty. But you can see the rail in the back here that looks pretty rusty, and I use a natural stone to give it the appearance of a New England railroad. So, alright, so now that we're back zoomed out, I'm going to show you from my point of view of what we use to simulate a realistic track ballast. Alright, so these are the containers that I like to use. One says barbecue sauce and the other one doesn't say anything, but you can put your glue in there, and it has a little spot here on the side so you can cap it, and when you're using it you can put your cap right on out of the way so it's not in the way of gluing the track. And here you can see that I'm using natural stone, and it's just, I've sifted it a few times, probably like 5 times ordinary to get this size stone, and it's just nicely evened out, and so it's all the same size. So yeah, we that's the kind of stone I use. And then after I'm done placing the ballast, or after I glue, then I place the ballast, spread it out, spray it with some alcohol and a cheap sprayer from the dollar store, and then I take my glue with water and a little bit of Dawn dish soap and maybe a little bit of alcohol to thin out the glue again. As you can hear, it's pretty loose inside there. So yeah, that's how I do this. So I will show you my process at it. Put that up there, put the cap on so we don't spill it. And we just come and start right in the center. Run a nice bead down the center of it. Doesn't have to be too much. Just enough to hold the ballast right in the center of the track. Then we take our paintbrush, our finger, and we just go straight down the center, trying to keep it off the rails. It helps. There you go. Any excess, well, you can come back the other way, flatten it out, and there you go. Always helps if you let the paint dry first. But, you know me, we're doing things on the fly. So, here we got quite a large hole. We'll throw some glue in that, and that will help that. There and there. 1 second. We'll just take some of this larger stone and work its way right in there, trying to save on the ballast so we don't lose it all down the hole. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing. We just throw it in there, throw it back there, throw it right in there. And we'll just squeeze that right in the hole, fill up the hole. Nothing too special, but now we won't lose a ton of ballast down in the hole. So we'll move that aside, won't lose it back there. So now what I like to do is move that out of the way, that out of the way, and we run a bead of glue down at the bottom to lock the track in onto your scenery, because these are tight. That will work out pretty good. There's that one, that one. Come back down through, and probably don't have to do this side, but we're going to do it anyways. So that's close to the wall, and there's that one. Alright, so what we have is a bead of glue holding the track down to the foam that has been painted. And now we're just going to come right across the top, not putting it on, sorry about that, camera died, back on track. We are taking the glue and putting it across here like this. Just like that. Come back up here. And of course, never fails. trying to do a video with the phone and people want to talk. They don't want to talk all day, but now they want to talk. So there you have it. We make a mess. But the mess can be easily rectified by taking your ballast out of your other shaker or other ketchup condiment bottle and pouring a liberal amount right down the center. We do this for two reasons. One, for even distributing, come on. And I found that it's a little easier doing it this way than out of a spoon and with a cup. So you take that like that. You take your nylon brushes. We got a 3/4 here and we got an inch brush. And you just kind of give it a good old pass by. And away you go. Trying to keep the paintbrush out of the glue because it will stick to it. But what falls off is just about the right amount to be the edge of your ballast. And as you go ahead and clean the rails off, you'll see that you're left with a mess. Now, take the magical finger here, push it right on down the track, clean that off, and now we can just brush the center of the track right out. And then, when you need more to fill everything in, fill that hole there. You want to pour it right easily down the side of the track. For the edge, by showing the edge or giving a raised look to the track is depending on how much ballast you actually use. So there you have that. Now you can come back and sprucing up the outside of the rail, showing the ties on the outside. Now you can just come back and clean your brush off, but then you just pat it right on down, and that gets rid of the hard brush line that is created by cleaning off the outside of the ties. Kind of tips it down so it looks pretty realistic. come back over here, do this side. Don't get too finicky with this side yet. So there we have that. Now what we'll do is come back in here, make sure that we got it nice and smooth. Just by tapping the brush against the ballast or the stone, it will flatten it. There you have that. So, now, on to the best part. Spraying the ballast with a nice coat of alcohol. This will ensure an equal spread throughout the ballast to stick it right to what you're trying to stick it to. Right, yeah, stick it to it. So we start here. Let's see. Yep. We'll start here in the center. Pour a nice good path right on down the track. Go down the center. Now you'll see it spread right out. Come back up and spray it right down the outside of the rail, and it will seep down through the ballast. As it does that, it's going to hold all your ballast right in place. So, as it seeps through, it will lock everything right in. Everything will dry nice and clear, so don't worry, it won't be white. And anywhere, like, maybe you can see it. You can see where I poured right here. It's kind of like a trough, where you just come back with a little bit more ballast on the outside, and you kind of fill that little void. And away you go. Just trying to keep it off the ties the best you can. And there you have it. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how I do it. Under 20 minutes, you can have a 4-foot section done. And it's not too shabby. Pretty easy going. So go ahead, paint and weather your track. Go ahead and glue and then put your ballast on your track. Then go ahead and spray everything once over with the alcohol. Mix up some glue and water with a little bit of Dawn dish soap or dish soap. Doesn't have to be Dawn, but some dish soap, some water, a little bit of alcohol, because you already have alcohol here you're going to spray. So just 50 water, 50 glue, couple of drops of dish soap, go to town. And this is your last step. And as you can hear, well, see right there is how much I have left out of this bottle, and it was up here on this finger. So then use that much. It's going. Once it dries, then I can run train cars across it. You'll need to scrape the top of the track off to clean that, but use a nylon bristle brush because they flick back pretty good, you know, and they fit in between the rails. End scale, you'll probably be using a 1/2 inch to 3/4. HO, 3/4 to 1 inch. And just take your time, work it back and forth. And it's always best to let the glue or let the spray paint dry before you go ahead and ballast. That was my downfall in this video. I just rushed it, but I will show you here what I did a few days ago, and then I ended up noticing that I had a lot of ballast stuck to the outer rail, so when I scraped it all off with a pair of tweezers, it took the weathering off also. So I will go back with my my airbrush and go ahead and tediously take the time to paint that, or I'll use a paintbrush. There you go. This is what I did a couple of days ago. As you can hear, it's pretty hard. And let's see. We'll put a little army tanker car on the track. And she goes right down it perfectly fine. So that's my demonstration on how we do ballasting on easy track for HO, and you guys can take it for what it is, but this is how we do it. Alright guys, I want to thank you. Thanks guys. Thanks again.